Let's go. All right, so I feel like I think that UFO. I just want to see if he comes back in because it ended that way. But if UFO comes in the comments, I just wanted him to at least be able to, you know what I mean, say goodbye. You know, wish everybody like, you know, what do they say? Something and prosper. What does he say? It's Spock. Something and prosper, right? I cannot remember what the fucking guy says, but it's some shit like that. But UFO might not come back. He might have been like, okay, Dark, our time is up. I'll see y'all aliens some other time. I know UFO too. In the way where he'll be like, greetings, fellow aliens. He says some shit like that. He got a little thing he says, you know. Live long and prosper. Live long and prosper, my friends. You guys got it. Damn, you all, every one of you all got it. I totally forgot what it was. All right, well, it doesn't look like UFO is going to come back in here, so. Yo, save those queer. I'm going to, okay, listen, Probe, listen. I'm going to have her come in here right now. You have any questions like that? How long to trim the family is off before it's no longer? Oh, I'm going to let her answer those questions. You know what I mean? I could answer them, but we're going to get Miss Baked Tater in here right now. So, any of you guys have any questions on making, you know, high quality fucking rosin, anything like that at all? This person that's about to come in, she's going to be able to answer all those questions. Like, so, you know, this is the time to ask. If you guys are curious about anything at all, it has to do with washing, pressing, you know, making fucking really good rosin. This is the time. So get all your questions ready, all right? I'm going to have her come in right now. Let me see. There you go. Cart questions. I mean, I have some, you know.
Don't mind me, just stuffing my face.
Hola.
Hola.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very good.
Let me get it all set up. There we go. There we go.
So,
Thanks.
is that an ice cream thingy?
It's a frozen
It
yogurt.
looks very, very fucking good, actually. Is it mint? Is it chocolate chip mint?
Yeah.
I can tell it looks fucking good.
It's 100 calories.
Can you point me to those, because I could really use 100 calorie something, you know, nightly to know. I'm just saying. I'm like, bro, I'm so label
Yasso's
fucking aware
Greek
now.
yogurt bars. Yasso's Greek yogurt
Oh,
bars.
okay.
Holy freaking chip.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, as we get older, I think we pay way more attention to what we're
Right.
eating, which we should. But it's
Yeah.
like, yo, I need to, you know, I'd be on the hunt for shit like that. Where I just say.
Hey guys, I'm here to answer questions. One bite.
All right, so you guys, I'm gonna type this out again. If you guys have any questions at all, Instagram is rooted ended UFO, and I was trying to give you time. You can jump back on for a minute if you want while
Yeah.
she's finishing and say goodbye. You know. All right, hold on. I'm gonna have you come back in. Hold on for 1 second. I'm just trying to
Okay.
type this out.
I'm ready. Oh.
All right, here we go. Bam. And do me a favor, Pro Bong, put it in through the bottom, because I'm gonna leave that pinned up there, which means if you guys have questions to ask, that's why I pinned that. Hit the question box in the bottom little corner. And you could type your questions there, and I could throw them up on the screen. It makes it easier for us all.
And then I got my little baby jars of my pheno hunts.
Oh, you mean the schnot? I mean, not schnot. I mean,
It's not enough.
just kidding.
When you watch so much and you get back a booger worth, yeah, those are always fun.
Just ordering the Bashir Galaxy Pizza Store. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Um, well, I mean, what are you smoking on? You know, I'm smoking on some Love in Their Eyes and some Lime Rising Farms right now.
I
Actually,
have a very low amount of hash that I'm smoking at the moment because we've smoked through everything. But I have my pheno hunt that we finished. Um, and so I have this new one, and it's kiwi cheesecake, but it smells like a sour apple now and later, and it tastes like it, and it's phenomenal.
ooh, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah, so yeah, I have that one, and then I have the one I was showing earlier. This one
Right.
is the little space in it. This is Kim Cookies. It's from that seed pack Mamiko Seeds where they found GMO. I won this pack of seeds when I won Davao in Spain. They gifted me that pack for winning. So um, that those are the two things that I've been smoking on.
Yeah, those guys. Actually, I was going to work with those guys, but they're in
Mamiko?
Spain. I don't think people realize that's where Mamico is. They're out of Spain. They're not an
Yeah,
American company, so it's pretty interesting. That's where they found that. What up,
yeah.
Mister
There's some like
Baitator?
the huh?
I said, what's up to him?
Oh, yep. Him going by.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah, say hi to the people, babe.
Hello, everybody. I'm still can't see my head.
All right. What else do we have? Let me see. If there's any questions you guys have, I'm gonna put the questions up. We'll. Man, not like that. My fingers done. Canada fucked me up. All right, Chronic. We don't talk about it anymore. We're over that. Yeah, it's all Canada's fault. Didn't you know?
Answer that one question.
Oh, I had the one question about how long should you get it cut down, right? From that
In
one
the freezer after you
Yeah,
after it's
there
in the
was.
freezer.
Let me see. I'll go back to it.
something about fingers.
But for but you guys put your questions in through the question box if you have any questions on making carts, pressing rosin, post cure carts, etc. So
Yeah,
the
we did
post cure
coffee and
part.
donuts on our carts. We did a we were on a panel for that for post cure. That was cool. But so to answer the question, I don't know if he's still in here. Hopefully he is.
Did you see the question
About
now?
no, I don't see the question.
Okay, here I'm going to read it to you. Let's say I use the fresh frozen label. How long do I have to trim the fan leaves off before it's no longer considered fresh frozen anymore?
So it's super subjective. That just kind of it just kind of depends. Personally, I would say less than an hour. We strive to be less than 20 minutes. Um, and so pretty much if you have a smaller grow and it's not like trellis and whatnot, and you can just physically take the plant, I would say the best thing to do is to like take your plant to wherever you're trimming it at and cut it off branch by branch, and that way you have um like a very short amount of time, and you can set a timer is what I always recommend for people. So like set a 20-minute timer, and at the end of the 20 minute, have we use freezer bags, like freezer gallon bags. So you have that set up in front of you, and then trim your leaves off and bucket off into the bag. And then at the end of your 20 minutes, we recommend to leave your bag open. Don't zip it up and put it in the freezer. When you're cutting plants, they release heat, and when they do that, you can it'll cause frost to build up on the outside of your buds, and they'll pop your resin heads, which you don't want. So it's best to leave your bags open and then wait about 24 hours and then zip them up. So and that's just like, to preserve your quality and whatnot and not have frost like crush all your heads. But so if you can do it one at a time, one plant at a time. The best way to do it, if it's just yourself and you don't have a crew of people to help you, is to just cut them, like sit by the plant and cut them off into the bag, and then at the 20-minute timer, what you have in the bag is what you put in the freezer. Um, no, it didn't crush them all. It would just crush what the frost touched. So like in the in and just like really what it froze on it. You didn't ruin your stuff. Don't worry. But for the next time, for do it next time. It's okay.
Right.
Um. So if not, then like I said, 20-minute timer. If you have a crew of people, you can get usually 400 gram, like 300 something grams in a gallon freezer bag, and go. And that's what we use, and that's just because we don't have um like a lot of weight. Why not just refrigerate it then freeze it? Because it's not. You want to the refrigerator, like it's just gonna get mushy. It's
So that's
not.
why it's fresh frozen too, though. Like that's where,
Yeah,
it's fresh frozen.
your
So
bud's just gonna be like wet. It's not going to be you know frozen.
right, and
And from the moment you cut it off the plant, you got to think that your heads are degrading. The plant's dead now; it's dying, and those heads are not going to be alive anymore after so long. So like you're gonna have it. They just start degrading. So the quicker you can get it from the plant into the freezer, the better.
okay. I see. How many years have you been doing this?
Not many. We've been growing since '04, but we've only been making hash for about 2 years now.
Okay, so I was just gonna go through. So it's the whole plant. Wait, or it's not the whole plant. So you're putting the whole plant in there. So the person that's asking that, it's the whole plant. They're not trimming it ahead of time, right?
Um, so what we personally do, it is the whole plant. So let's say, let me find like something I can use. Okay. Let's say that this is your stalk, and you have your buds up it. We're trimming off any like dead tips, any big fan leaves or things that don't contain a favorable amount of like heads and whatnot. So that's what we do. Some people don't cut on it at all. It's kind of one of those things where everyone has their own recipe. I would say the faster you can get it frozen, the better. And like I said, just keep your bag open for 24 hours. That way the frost doesn't build up on the buds.
I'm trying to figure out if this is the same question. It's the whole plant or trimmed always. Why they label a lot of it? Can you see what I pinned that at the bottom?
Yeah. So what he's asking is that if it's trimmed, is it still? I'm assuming he's asking if it's trimmed, is it still considered whole plant fresh frozen? Yes, because like for us, we're flushing the plant out in order to give you guys like the cleanest medicine we can. And kind of side effect of that is sometimes your leaves will begin to fade out and die, like your fan leaves and whatnot. And you don't want to wash those. It'll bring like the overall quality down. So we'll cut those off. But whole plant fresh frozen is speaking more on the bud and not the leaves. So for us, when we're taking the whole plant, it's not just the lowers. A lot of companies will harvest the tops for flower and then go do the lowers for rosin.
This is type of information only experience to wish with a 10 if you thank you, big taters. Let's
Thank
go, cool
you.
bomb.
Yeah, I mean, we've had to learn a lot the hard way. Like literally just now, we had to replace a relay um on our freeze dryer, and we've had a lot of like freeze dryer mishaps. So we have a certain company we go with now. Um, yeah, there's just I do not recommend Harvest Right.
Really?
Yeah, it's just that I've never. All my friends have problems with them. I've had several of them. They break. When their relay fails, they fail open. So it turns your Harvest Right into like an oven. So anything that's in there is you're gonna burn it up.
So,
Um,
so what do you recommend? I mean, when I looked, it was like that was all I could find, really.
but
So what else?
personally,
Yeah.
Like, so there's two that I like, and so but there's only one that I have experience with, but there's also one that I like in theory, right? So like we use Stay Fresh. We have a few
Okay.
of them, and we've had no issues, knock on wood, other than like a relay going out after years of use. And they actually supplied an extra one in the unit just in case. Um, so that's really nice. And then there's Holland Green Science, but Holland Green Science is about double the cost of Stay Fresh.
Okay.
So that's, Stay Fresh is a really great unit. They pretty much look exactly like Harvest Rights, except for like their fittings and things like that are of higher quality. And like I said, the way that they made theirs to fail, because they're mechanical parts, they fail over time, is a safer way for hash making than Harvest Right.
Yeah, I see this. Had that happen once, turned everything brown.
Yeah,
OG hash
it
crap.
does, and so like you could have, your whole, a good portion of your harvest in there. Something way worse is you could have a good portion of somebody else's harvest in there and it fails.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you're talking like we have a 7 tray unit, so if it failed, and they're full trays, it's like a pound of rosin that just got burned up.
Right.
So, what's wrong? Spicy? Sorry, we just had dinner and the taco meat was. What do you use to wash your flour? We hand wash.
Let's go.
So
Spicy is good though.
yeah, Chad. Yeah, we hand wash our products. We don't use a machine. If I was gonna use a machine, I would say to use like a hashtag, and they just came out with like more personal units that are only a couple thousand. But but at the end of the day, we hand wash because we feel like we can watch our material and kind of be more present with it than just like pressing a button and closing a lid or whatnot. We can
Okay.
actually see how it's performing, and that's why we do it. And once again, it's a recipe thing. It's just how we do it.
Yeah.
So we hand wash. We paddle in a bruteless stainless steel vessel, and then um, one thing that we do that I've found out that not everyone does is we don't recirculate water. We use clean water each time. I didn't know it was a thing to really circulate water like that.
So there. Okay. Yeah. So there's people that are reusing the water. Like I didn't know either. I mean, it seems like you would want fresh water every time, right?
Yeah, but it becomes an issue of like storing. So like ideally, so for us, we're storing 370 gallons of RO water at a time in our freezer, in our walk-in freezer. So 250. So sorry, 400 gallons or so of, doesn't matter.
A lot. A fucking
A
lot.
lot, a lot
Yeah.
of RO water at a time in order to be able to wash it out and make sure it's clean, and that you're washing it with clean water or RO water, not just like tap water,
Right.
because there's minerals and additives in that to make it, you know, fit for consumption, and you're just adding that back into your hash. You know. so
Yeah.
I
No.
would
Definitely.
so I mean I would recommend using RO water to wash with, and but yeah, I mean, yeah.
Heresy.
Yeah, I mean, I understand like in some environments like California where there's a drought and things like that where it could be like really hard to get water, and in which case you gotta do what you gotta do.
Is it more gentle on the resin heads to wash up? I mean, that's a good question because I do hear like both sides. Like I've like Daddy Mac, for he swears by the mechanical, we'll say, but I feel
Yeah.
like hand wash is more like it seems more craft. I don't know, like that's just in my head. It seems like you're more personal with it. Like, I mean, I guess either way is cool. Like to each their own, but me
Well, like
personally,
bud density is different with each strain, as all any grower in here knows. So some strains are gonna be um like more dense, and some are going to be more fluffy, and even run to run the same strain can change up, or under different lights, if you change your lights, the structure and the density of your beginning product can change. And so we just personally like to be able to monitor that, and actually see how saturated the bud is and how much it's being broken down, because if not, then you start running into the realm of like pulling green, and things like that, or just like a dirtier product.
Right.
And I just don't like the whole, like, I guess, set it and forget it method of washing. I know people who their first wash, like in Ospreys, is over an hour. That like blows my mind because ours is like 3 to 5 minutes most of the time.
Yeah. How is that even a possible? Like how for an hour? Like
I
is
mean, I'm
that
not
just?
gonna say no names. I'm just saying that it does
No,
happen
but it
a
seems
lot.
like because I mean, I have a
Yeah.
fuck, I've done little batches and like you're 3 to 5 minutes, like that's like an hour, like that's wild to me. It's just you know. But Canna Research shout out best hash I've ever had is usually hand wash.
I
What's up,
used to
Canna
beat the
Research?
shit out of the vessel and wash material, and I get more resin, but found out it was lower quality than I should have got. Um,
Yeah, if you use that ball thing.
yeah, like if you use that like cowbell ball thing, that thing is gonna beat the crap out of your hash.
It's good for later.
But it really, like I said, like it's just being able to watch it. And if you're only doing, like, let's say 5 minute washes, you can, slowly wash for 5 minutes, drain, check your product, see how, actually pick up a bud and look at it. And, is it all falling apart and mushy and gross? Is it spent material now and you need to go ahead and move on to budget? Or is it, still holding up and nice? So it just really kind of depends. It's very strain dependent, and every strain's different.
Um, all right, I see from Scott. What's the best temp to press? Oh, to press flour and how long? I've got a nug smasher kind of new to it.
So I don't like to just like talk out my ass. So I've never pressed flour. I did it once. So I wouldn't be the person to ask. I don't want to, like, I would assume, I know that when they press flour, they press it in a higher micron bag. So they, for herb or flour materials, usually like a 37 or even like a 90 or something like that. And it's at a much higher temp, like, 220 to 240, if I'm not mistaken. But once again, don't write that down and take it as like what it is. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. I've seen it done a lot, but I haven't really done
Yeah.
it. I can go ahead and tell you what I do. So I triple bag my hash. I use 15 U bags, not 25, and so I do two 15 U bags and one 160. Sometimes I will use a 5 U bag, which is super filtering, and it just, because I felt like doing it that day, I'll do it. I haven't found any like lower percentages with using these like really refined micron bags to press through.
Right.
But I've pressed through all three: 25, 15, and fives. Um,
He's 10 months today.
so my kid's like
160.
in the snack.
Uh, Potbelly Seeds has 160 or 90 micron for flour and a 220. So there you go. There's
Yeah,
other
see, like
people
I
in here.
said, like I would be talking out my butt
Mhm.
because I don't know. Like,
All right, take the pot.
So if you guys have questions on non-flour press rosin, or solventless, like washed the right way, here we go. Ask your questions. So
I mean,
yeah,
like, give try though.
I
If you
don't
didn't know
know.
the micron
Like
was on.
I started at press flour a little bit, and for some, like I just don't like the way like this is a long time ago now. It always
Yeah.
tasted like it just never had a good taste to me. I don't know. I'd rather just smoke the flour at that point. You should actually go You should do it the right way if you're gonna press, in my
I
opinion.
mean, some people, like, let's say they have some flour and they just want to smoke a little bit of rosin and they just want to, like, play with it and whatnot. That's cool.
Yeah, but it tastes. I don't know. I've never gotten like a really good taste out of it. It just changes it because the flour's in there. I don't know.
Um,
That's just me though.
I see your
Um,
question. What bubble bags do you use? I actually use Rosin Evolution because another controversial thing that we do is that we don't reuse our wash bags. Um, so from each time that we wash a garden, like we bring a harvest down, we buy brand new bags every time.
a whole set of brand new bags,
The bags
or
that
just
we
a wash bag.
use. Yeah, Rosin Evolution. The ones that we use, so like our main bags, so like our 73, our 45, our 90,
Right.
a 220 work bag, a
Right.
160 catch bag, so 45 food. So like
Mhm.
The reason that we do it that way is to just kind of preserve quality. Nobody wants to like be dabbing on old moldy terps. And at
No.
the end of the day, you can wash it as well as you want to, and then also washing it the hurt. The more you wash it, like with alcohol
Right.
or whatever, you're spreading apart the mesh, the microns, and you're going to, um, it's just not going to be true to that range that it's saying it is. And then like I said, cleaning them every time. Rosin Evolution is at a price point where you can buy single bags for
Okay.
$25. So, and for our application, we'd rather just spend the couple $100s to get all new bags than wash them.
What do you do with the fly high? Fly
No,
high
we don't wash moldy product. What I'm saying
the
is
bat.
is the hat. When you have a product that it has water on it, and then you have an organic material like flour, over time, water and any organic material
Right.
will begin to degrade.
She's talking about the bags. The bags,
Yeah.
not the product anyway.
No,
Talking about the bags.
I wouldn't advise anyone to wash moldy product. That's gross. Like
Of course
for
not.
scientific purposes, if you don't air dry and you use a freeze dryer, it would technically kill anything. But like I wouldn't recommend your starting material being mids, which is what moldy product is like shit that should have been thrown away.
Yeah. And I kind of yeah, I was kind of researched. I was seeing your comment when I said, yeah, the kind of can't get those fresh frozen turfs with dry pressed flour. That was what I was seeing before. I agree. Okay, so what else do we have? We have how much material should I wash at a time using a 5 gallon container? Material to ice water ratio?
Mhm. Um,
He's taking notes. He's definitely.
you can write
Yeah.
me.
I was about to say, you
But
might want to just like get a lesson. You
yeah, you
know.
can write me, love. But so I would say like less than 1,000 grams. In my 20-gallon vessel, we don't do no more than all I have is a 20-gallon bruteless vessel. So in that, we don't do any more than 4,000 grams. So if you're in a five, I would say 1,000 or less, and then you can what I would do is I'd put in your frozen material, and then I'd put ice on top of that in order to push it down while it soaks, and then soak it for 10 minutes or so, depending. If you want to pull melt, then maybe a little longer, and then begin washing it. No, like you can use okay, so like I said, it's a very controversial technique as far as not reusing bags. My kids have used our spent bags to catch minnows. Um, they do have their purposes, but at the end of the day, like I said, we just want to know that we're bringing the cleanest product possible.
Yeah.
So it's just an expense that we just eat. You know what I mean?
So in other words, she's doing it the way where not many people are doing it. Think about it. Think about that logically. Like instead of having, how the bags get,
Oh, I
you
tell
literally have to.
people all the time. People say that we're wasteful all the time,
No, fuck
but
that.
the seams get so gross
Right. I
and
feel
caked
like
with rosin with
yeah,
half.
and like to try to wash it with alcohol. I get it, maybe like, but you guys are processing a lot, and think
Well,
about
I
how
mean,
it makes
our
perfect
rooms
sense.
tend to be about 40,000 grams a piece, and we only have two. And they don't come down at the same time, so we don't have like a huge grows. Um, they're they're small, and that's why we're able to do the things that we do with them, and it makes sense to us. But they're big enough
I
to also like cover that cost. So it's at a nice like middle ground. Of course, like if you're just at home in your kitchen with the 5-gallon bubble magic,
right.
like and it's going to be consumed for just you or your close friends and
Wash
whatnot, you do you.
exactly.
You know what
Wash
I mean?
them like
But if you're like I would say you could stand to replace them every 40,000 grams, but your average home person who's washing in their kitchen, they're not washing 40,000 grams. They're washing maybe 1,000 or 2,000 or 4,000 or something like that. And we're talking wet grams, by the way. So don't start, oh, these are so many pounds or wet. It's wet. You know what I mean? But like with that said, if it's going to be consumed with, just you and your people, by all means, reuse your bags up to, let's think of it as an oil change, 40,000 grams, right? But we make product that other people consume, and some of those people have cancer and autoimmune problems and just other real needs. Now, don't get me wrong. I would say probably 80%, 90% of our customers are just a bunch of hash wooks who want to get high,
Mhm.
and I love them for it. But we do have people who use it medicinally, you know, as their medicine. And so we want to make sure that when it goes out, it's as clean as we've done everything in our power to make sure that it's clean.
And there's nothing but respect there. That's how more of these people should. Like I appreciate that because I had Nick Lime Rising Farms on to begin the night, and this is what we focused on. We talked about RSO, medicinal, clean, giving people medication that they actually need. So yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah,
people out there that just like you said, like the guys that just want to dab and they just want to get high, and that's cool. Like I'm one of those guys too, to an
we're all
extent, or
wokes to
was.
tacos. It is what it is. Like,
Don't
you know what
listen, yo. Don't listen to this guy. Don't pay attention to Turp Tacos. Rule number one of my
I
lives:
mean?
don't pay attention to Turp Tacos
I mean,
comments.
like,
I promise you. I promise you. It's hard
um,
for me too. Like, but I've learned over the years because he's been around a long time. I just ignore Turp Tacos comments. Do yourself a favor.
the
Do the
first
same.
time we ever made any concentrate, we made it for a friend who has passed away, but they got cancer. So we made them RSO, and that's the first time we ever made any type of concentrated product. And that's back when we lived in West Virginia. So just gonna go ahead and incriminate myself on that one. But like, um, that's the first time we ever made like a concentrated product and like washed the material and tried to like knock off heads and like have like the best cleanest stuff we could for her. um but as far as like hash making, we didn't get into that until a couple years ago. Maybe
Do you still
we
make? Do you make RSO at all, or
I have several times in the last couple of years.
okay,
Actually, I have a buddy who's their family's going through some things right now, and I have like 6 gallons of Everclear 190 proof sitting here because that's what we use to make RSO.
okay?
Once again, it's just what we feel is like a healthier, cleaner product for people, versus using like an actual like another alcohol or ethanol or anything like that. So just a grain alcohol, 190 proof is what we use when we make RSO.
Yeah, I'm asking because I have somebody that I'm asking because I'm like I have Nick and I have one other person, but I'm trying to find somebody else too for somebody that has cancer. So that's why I asked that. So
Oh yeah, I mean, I what do I do with my old micron bags after I press? I second press them and then I throw them away. But I used to give them to somebody who would make RSO out of them.
uh, so what do you do with your old micron bags
Yeah,
after
that's
press?
that's what I was just saying is that
Oh, okay. Okay.
I second press them, and I can kind of give you an example of how I do that. Let me try to get my charger and everything lined up over here. Sorry, gotta love an iPhone 14 after an update. That bitch ain't gonna stay charged for nothing.
Really, I think I have an iPhone. Wait, I have the iPhone 14 Pro Max, and this thing actually blows my mind how it keeps the charge.
Maybe I'm just on my phone too much.
I'm on my phone fucking all the time, man.
But then maybe I just suck. I don't know what to tell you,
Yeah,
dude.
I think it's the 14. What's the newest one? The six. Wait, what's the newest one? The 15 or 16?
16.
Oh, this is the 15 then. All right. Yeah, this is the 15.
So when I've made now it's just like my straight forehead because it's like all okay. Hold
Let's
on.
go.
Uh, um. What was the question about
I
RSO
th-
making?
I mean, I was just asking. I'm just trying to find a third person to be able to rely on for RSO. That's what I
Um,
was asking. So,
okay.
but I think we
Um,
moved
no, but
on.
well, like I said, I'll give product to people for ours, so I don't really sell it. Um, the old or like I'll make it to give it away for people because I mean it's just Baked Tater's mom is a stage 4 colon cancer survivor, so it's just something that we kind of hold close to us, and so we don't charge for
Okay.
RSO.
And I have somebody that now is in my life that their mom has cancer, and
Yeah.
she, like, so.
I mean,
But
I don't feel like it's good karma to be like, "Hey, you're sick and I'm going to charge you for it." You know what I mean? I feel like Big Pharma does that enough and we're blessed in life enough to
right,
be able to just make it and not charge someone for it that's sick. If we didn't have, like if we haven't been blessed with, the small level of success that we've had, but have had success with the rosin, that might be different. You know what I mean? So I'm not talking shit. If you have to charge for it, you have to charge for it.
yeah, no, totally. I agree with you 100%. And I've
But
had people that I spoke to, and they're like, they gave me prices, and then I talked to people that, like, like Nick and one other person, and they were like, no, 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 whatever you fucking need, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
that
for sure.
I appreciate that in a huge way because when people are going through that, what they're going through, and this legit like fucking helps so much. That's like the main thing that helps.
Yeah.
You just have to like, I don't know, you just have to sort of like,
I mean,
appreciate what
it's
it
one
is.
thing if you're just like, oh, I want some RSO because like I want to get high.
Yeah, no, not
Um,
at all. That's yeah,
And in which case, when I was making like more, when I was going to more like Michigan shows and vending, I made RSO, and my syringes were the cheapest ones there were. I usually did like $5 to $10 for a gram of RSO syringe, just kind of depending on how many you got. If you got one, it was 10. If you got two, it was 10. It was stupid, but I just was like kind of giving it away already.
right.
But when someone would come up and tell me that they were buying it for this ailment or that ailment or whatever, I would give it to them. So I mean, I feel like RSO should be given away as well, if you have any capacity to do so.
Cool.
You know,
Well, I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you off here.
yeah.
So I appreciate that. All right, I think we have about 25 minutes left. Somehow that half hour flew by, but we have about 25 minutes left. I think is when we started. What
Oh,
type
I
of
see
flower?
someone's question.
Yeah, this is a question that I feel like there's not really an answer for, but I'm going to read the question. What type of flower works best for washing indoor LED HPS?
So that's like super
Yeah.
debated question. And really dependent. So I actually have both an LED room and an HPS room. Um, so and I've found that in my LED room, I get more weight, like biomass weight, but in my HPS room, I get, more favorable heads, like by a percent. So it just kind of depends. I would say in the perfect world, the best way to grow would be naturally with the sun. I live in northern Michigan. In the fall, we don't get sun. We get rain and cold weather, which means that you get mold and mildew. Um, like southern Michigan is probably way different, but I live in the snow belt, and northern Michigan, it's in the 30s in the day right now here as well. It sucks. We grow indoor,
Wait, what's the
but I
temperature
would
there?
say, huh?
What's the temperature there?
In the 30s. Um, so we grow indoor. It's 28 right now. Yeah, it's 28 right now. We grow indoor. I would say, in the perfect world, I'd be able to have like a light depth greenhouse, and I think that would give you the best of both worlds. I feel like a sun grown terp or something that's been like that, um, is better, but I don't have the ability to grow with where I live at like that. I could do a light depth greenhouse, but I just don't have the money to build one the way I want to right now. Um, the LEDs we have in our room are the Gavita 1930Es. They're not a efficient LED, but they produce amazingly and they have a great like light spectrum, super deep penetration in it. That's what she said. I can't. I'm a child.
Let's go. That's what she definitely said. Okay, moving
So
on. That's
so
what she said though.
so at the end of the day, that's what we use in there. And then in our
Let's
other room, we have the
go.
Gavito double-ended 1000s.
I like that.
So like obviously we use Gavita. We like Gavita products here. And we got the 1930Es when they were $1,200 a piece. We love them. In an LED room, you're running it so hard, it's like kind of like running a marathon. Like it's, just, the temps are a little bit higher. The nutrient intake is higher. The room's just running at a faster, rate. And so, like, when something goes wrong in our LED room, it goes wrong fast because of how hard that room is running. Um, and our HPS room is a little bit more like relaxed, and it's easier to run the HPS room. We can run it colder too, and we've found that helps with terpene preservation. So we've actually considered getting rid of the LEDs and going back to all HPSs with maybe like some mixed in CMHs. CMHing we've found that has like kind of like
Right.
bigger, bigger heads and whatnot. How much CO2 do you run in your LED room? Baked tater. 1,400.
I mean, that's the max.
I mean,
Drop it off.
we drop it off like as it goes.
I see. Why don't you use stainless steel screens? And I feel like you're basing that off of what the Canadian bacon does, but he's making like uh old school hash. He's not really making rosin. So, but you could answer that. Why don't you use stainless steel screens?
And
Instead of wash bags.
instead of wash
Yeah.
bags, is that what they're?
Hmm.
Yeah, 1,400 ppm, but we taper it off. Um, I'm not sure what he's asking there,
I
honestly.
think he's talking about those fucking like their. I mean, I've seen like traditional hash made through the screens, and I think it's just it's just different. Like I think it's a totally different process,
Yeah.
man. It wouldn't make sense to really do it that way.
I
I
see
mean, I
another question. So when someone says you get such weight percentage from a strain, is that based on what weight? It's so funny you mentioned that because I'm smiling because I have this very, oh, they want my forehead again. Hi.
hello forehead.
Um, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. He says hello forehead. Don't be talking about my forehead like that, Dart. I'm sensitive about it.
Dry sift
It's a fine
screens,
head.
but
So
that
like
yeah.
this paper is, as you can see, it's backwards. But like I just did a pheno hunt, so I pressed 31 different strains. I'll turn the thing around on the table. Don't come for me about my table. So
Oh
yeah,
my,
I'm sitting in front of a
yeah. Is that take? Can you organize that just a little bit,
no.
or is that your organization? I'm just curious.
Look, this is the fact that like this is our hash that we're smoking, so we just have a lot of hash out on this table
Let's go.
and snacks. Um, I mean, we have three torches out, 4 or 5 rigs. Anyway, so this is all hash, and then so like these are all the white lids that you see were a pheno hunt, and in that we have my percentages that I got back, and as you can see, the majority of these, this is the first wash rosin, not hash. So that's what you will get, like a lot that don't that when they like are quoting like how much a strain gets, um it's usually like to hash, and it's everything like your food grade, your you your budget, and your first wash. And so when I'm quoting this number, this is to first wash. Listen, my whole house ain't dirty like this. This is just my hash table.
I'm
Like
just
look,
saying you might want to straighten up the hash
look,
table next
don't
time.
come for me. Um like you got these guys right here. Say hi, Nobody's smoking Chad, and then this is baked hit. Don't put my face on the thing.
Let's
Old school guy.
go.
Um, so this is like, as you see, I think I had two that did over 2%. So when I hear people,
Right.
I do have some that do well. Like the Death by Booth is a strain that does about 6.5, 7%.
Okay.
Um, overall. To first wash though, she's like 3.5. Um, I mean, yeah, a lot of people will say that food grade. Um, for our food grade, it's a 45 bag and it's not included. The budget that we have is um like this one's a little bit drier because I haven't stirred it much yet. But this is some budget. Death by Booth. She's a little dry. But you literally caught me. You caught me like at a time where we're right in the middle of harvesting, so my table's going to look like this, people.
Listen,
Um,
just lay off the table.
yeah,
We could move on from the table. You like me, like I'd be stuck on something for a little
I'm
while,
stuck
but
on it. But
I
no,
think we're
we have
good.
three tiers. So we have first wash, budget, and then food grade. And so when we wash like our first wash, and then from there it goes into budget, and then usually budget stops at fourth, so second, third, fourth.
Okay.
Um, and then from there it goes into food grade, and it just depends. Sometimes budget is second and third. Sometimes it's first, second, third. If we don't feel like it meets the standard to go into the tater jars, and we have a secondary brand called Melted Solventless that we put it in.
Melted Sabilis, I like the name, actually. Okay.
The jars are cool too, man. Like they're all um this is my secondary brand.
Oh, let's go. I like it. Daddy Mac,
Um
what's up, brother? I
it
see you.
says like mids are for kids and burn
Mm.
hash, and it kind of has like, you know, no mids allowed.
Let's go. I want the table. I know, right?
I
But don't
mean,
bring
it's
the
a
table up again.
don't bring it up.
We have to talk about
I
the
mean,
table
like, here's
anymore.
the thing is, the funny thing is I'm actually not really allowed to clean the table. I get in trouble. My husband's like, "Where's all my hash at?" And I'll be like, "Oh, I put it all in this container." And he's like, "What? I had it out where I wanted to smoke it." And,
Listen, I'm the same way as him, actually. Like, I know
and then
where
I'll have
everything.
like
It
not
might not
one,
look
but like
organized,
no
but I know where
smoking
everything is.
Chad actually lives with us, so he has his side of the table, which is given more organized than my husband's side. But you're talking about a man that takes like 40 or 50 dabs a day.
Let's
Like,
go.
you know
No
what I
boo
mean?
smoking chat. I see him come through the lies. I see his name flow through the lies. I didn't know. That's what's up. Okay, cool. Good to know.
But
We're
But yeah, I
cluttered.
would say that yeah, we're in the middle of harvest and washing, so we're cluttered as hell right now. Anyway, um, I would say the majority of your strains are gonna fall around a 2.5, 2% range for washing if you're not buying like wash genetics. And I actually did these are actually our wash genetics. These are from like Farmhouse Genetics and Bloom Seed Company and THC Seeds and like just a lot of other companies that are known for producing washers. It's just not everything's a washer, and if you were doing like mixed full spec, these would be 4 or 5% washers, but
Oh,
to
okay. Right.
first wash rosin, getting 2% is really good.
Um, I don't think you guys don't even ship out of you guys don't ship, right? I mean, he
I
says
mean,
U.S.
allegedly.
You send international was the question, and I would say probably definitely not. I mean, I would say I mean, I don't know. Hit him in the DMs. I mean, it's hard. I'm just saying it's really difficult to ship international. In the
Yeah.
States is one thing. To try to go international is, different. So
Yeah, for sure. We have yeah, I don't know if his name's Mario. I don't know who THC Seeds really is. Terp Tacos. I bought them at the Spanibus convention in
yeah,
Barcelona. Is when I.
not who you're thinking, Terp. See, I told you, you gotta just not read Terp Taco's comments. I mean, I'm just letting you know. You're better off that way.
So this is the new like lime Skittles that we found. It's like really nice, but my phone's not focusing.
Wait, that looks tasty
Um,
as hell. Yeah.
if something doesn't wash, do I still keep the cut? It has to be really, really good, like the new like sour apple now and later's one that we found. We're we're going to grow that one again, and that one only washed 1.26%. So if something's really nice, we'll run it back to see if we can improve it any. And even then we might keep it like a limited, like maybe only grow 2 or 3 plants of it in order just like to give that terp profile to the people.
I mean, I'll read that. Do you know terp percents or just wash percents?
I just know my wash percents. I haven't said anything for like terpene analysis or anything.
Do they? Oh, they're back on the lighting. Do you ever use or try checkerboard lighting HPS with LED for best results? Like miss. And I saw somebody
That's what
else.
we've considered, like taking half of our LEDs out and like kind of and then taking half our HPSs and like splitting the rooms and doing a checkerboard um layout of it, but we just haven't done it yet. Because like when you change your light spectrum in a room and all that stuff, everything changes. Like, you're going to be adjusting your CO2 in there. You're going to be adjusting all kinds of, temperatures and humidity to like best run that room. And honestly, we just kind of are in a groove at the moment with the LED room and the HPS room, that kind of throwing that curveball in there and changing it all up. We just don't have the time
No, once you
at the moment.
got it dialed in, it's sort of hard to redo it. I don't know.
We're actually currently getting bids on a job to build an addition onto our grow for living soil beds, to do some growing in some living soil beds is our next little adventure. We make our own median soil, if you want to call it, by mixing together like cocoa and perlite and some like peat moss and bat guano and kelp meal and seabird and worm castings and all this stuff, to just kind of help with transplanting, actually, that we found. So like we would find that when we would transplant into just straight cocoa, the plants would kind of like yellow out and fall off because they're not drinking right away. It's like transplant shock, right? Like they're just kind of looking all droopy and sad. So we found by like kind of like amending our soil, if you will,
Right.
we were able to kind of feed the plants before we actually could, and that helped like perk them up and got them growing their root system faster and all that jazz. So that's what
Okay.
we do. And I don't know, I'm kind of big on like, like feeding your microbial system and keeping like your root zone healthy and all that jazz, just because that's how your plant eats.
I don't think she said she had a problem with the cocoa. I think she just said that, what she just said. Dream.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's not a problem. I feel like with having those natural amendments in it, it helps the plant take off quicker and begin growing faster.
Yeah, I mean, I'll transplant into like I just fed, I'll feed the cocoa basically and transplant into it when it's nice and,
No,
you
yeah,
know.
you definitely, like, you can charge your cocoa like that
Mhm.
and do that and everything. Um, in our situation, that's why I say everything is a recipe. In our situation, having to like run that much nutrient water through cocoa in order to, charge it properly would just be honestly a pain in the ass.
All right, so I think all right, all the questions you guys asked have been answered at this point. I'm pretty sure we started right around 9:55,
Yeah.
I think. So we have about five. We have about seven. We're gonna call it 7 minutes left. So you guys get your questions in now because when that hits 10:55, I'm gonna say goodnight because I know it's gonna end right around then, and we're gonna do. You guys got about 4 or 5 minutes to ask
I
all the
mean, we
any other
hand
questions.
water every day. Like we're very like in our garden and watching how the plants are acting and if they're stressed and if they're having some nutrient burn or light burn or not enough or this or that. Like it's just it's just how we do it. There's no right or wrong way to grow a weed.
No,
And that's what
it's
it
not.
is. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like they want to grow. We threw away, we like took it out of a solo cup. It was just a root zone, and we threw it in our pile of compost. And they grew. And they were never watered, and they were never given any love. They looked fucking fire out there. We ended up tearing them out because, like, we don't just want wild plants out there growing, but we let them go for a while. Like, they had nice nugs on them. We never even watered them.
Right.
Like the plants want to grow, just don't
Yeah,
fuck it up. You know what I mean?
they will. They will. Like they will. They're very. They will grow. They will, and they're wheat. I mean, they're called weed for a reason. Like it's
I
wheat.
mean,
It's
don't
the
get me
wheat.
wrong.
The
Some
wheat.
are way more finicky. Some have
Definitely.
way, more susceptible to getting bugs. Some are more susceptible to getting, molds and mildews or whatever the case is. If you're ever fighting with molds and mildews, personally, what we do living in northern Michigan, where it's very wet in the fall, it's all about keeping your room clean and having a preventative. We actually use these. They're right here. In between each run, after we harvest and after we clean the room, we do what's called Procure. And it's a chlorine gas that gets into everything, into your lights, into your AC, your filtering system. It gets in everywhere that you can't clean
Right.
thoroughly. And it kills bacterial mold and mildew. It's just a preventative. And we've never had to deal with molds and mildew. Knock on wood. But the best way to treat a problem is to prevent it from happening in the first place. You
Exactly.
know what I mean?
Preventative. Like
So, this is just part of what we use, part of our recipe. We recommend it. We've never had a problem with those things or any type of like. I mean, there is problem with other brands. You will kill your plants in other rooms. Like
right.
if
Okay.
you use like a different brand and it's a higher concentration and all that jazz, like we actually, okay, I'm speaking from experience here. We had plants in a veg room, our moms and our clones and babies, and then one of our flower rooms it shares a wall where it's a gas and it goes through everything, the cracks, the crevices, and the other one was a much higher concentration and it leaked into our mother room. It did not kill them, but it did brown out a lot of the leaves. So this is a brand that we have found is safe for plants. Even and actually, as some R and D, we put a plant that we were going to throw away anyway. So we put an old mom in the room with it, set it off, and then put the plant pretty much right next to the gas in the room, and the plant was fine. Had no browning, no, it didn't die. The plant was totally fine. That was our R&D. I'm not trying to say that you should go do that. Like,
Let's
but
go.
yeah, so ProCure is what we use to prevent issues in our growth for molds and mildews. And once again, it's just a part of bringing like clean medicine and knowing that it's clean, not just being like, "Oh, shit's clean," you know.
That shit's clean,
All
dog.
right. How about this is from Rio? He's up in Michigan. You probably met him with me. I'm sure you know Rio. So maybe you met him in Breeders' Ball with me. Anyway, do you have any projects coming up as far as seed drops or special events?
We made seeds, fruit gushy potato head seeds. They're in the freezer hardening off at the moment.
No shit.
Um,
Damn,
yeah,
then we gotta have
so
a whole nother week.
yeah, we did
Ah,
we did make some seeds and it's something that we want to get into with some of the people ones that we found. As far as special events, we're actually going to LA the beginning of November for Masters of Rosin for a week. I'm super stoked about that. I don't know what I'm going to take yet, but we'll see. And then we got invited to an invitational out in Maui in Hawaii, also in November. So we'll be out there doing that.
really? That's what's up.
We don't burn sulfur because we don't have a sulfur burner, and I just don't like it.
All right, guys, we have 3 minutes left. I feel like it's gonna end. I mean,
It is.
it's the hours fly by. They always do. And I have
Yeah.
so many other things. Like,
Oh yeah, and then hopefully we get invited for Ego Clash in December.
hmm
Fingers crossed.
well, you are. I mean, you placed you what
Got
were
fifth
you
place
last?
last year in Ego
So
Clash for Rosin.
I feel like they should invite you back.
We're looking to maybe get invited for Melt this year. We'll see. We don't have any local events done. Um, we don't have anything planned locally. No.
Make sure everybody that's in here that doesn't know her, give her a follow right now. Pull it down from the top and follow her right now. I
Yep.
will try to have her come back. I feel like we totally have the seeds breeding. So like there's so much stuff we still have to talk about, but this hour's done.
We actually got two first place melts already. Like we're doing really well with our Death by Booth 3 pheno and a couple other ones. We pulled melt on like 5 different phenos this time. In preparation for Ego Clash to take the best that we could. So we'll see. what we end up taking. If you have any questions, you can hit me up, and if not, I can come back on with Dark a different week.
Yeah, yeah.
But
We
I'll
definitely
answer
having you come back.
anything.
100%. I'm having you come back. This hour flew by. It went by too fast. There's plenty of other things we need to talk about.